How's it going, Roman?
What is up, dog? How is it in New Jersey?
Wet. It's been raining for about the past 10 days.
That is a bummer. I mean, I'm in northern Germany, and I usually complain about wet weather, but the last 1.5 weeks have been bombastic, with the previous week being snow. So we transitioned from snow to spring in like one day.
Wow. So that's just like, I forget what they say about, there's this one place in the States where they just say, if you don't like the weather, just wait 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Same kind
Yeah,
of thing. Well, that's nice. I mean, it's variety, right?
kind of, I
Just
guess.
don't know whether to bring your skis or your raincoat.
Just bring it all.
Yeah. So let's see. What do we have coming up? We have WWDC coming up.
Hey, you know what? I was actually, I mean, when they announced Uncharted 4 and Doom 4, obviously I was psyched. I couldn't wait. It's been out the news has been out for, I don't know, half a year, and I'm just looking forward to these two games a lot. But I actually feel myself being more anxious about WWDC. Sorry to say it.
No, that's totally understandable. Let me put a marker in here. I got to edit this. Hold on for a second. All right. So, so WWDC, I'm not a gamer anyway, so games don't affect me, but yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, and by the way, really, really nice job on the reviews you've been doing on our site. I've been very lax lately because I've been kind of all over the place, but I'm trying to get back in the swing of things, but you've been keeping up the pace with some good reviews and really good stuff, man.
Thanks a lot. But dude, overworking is the worst thing, because after that, if you just overdo it, you won't be putting out anything privately or leisure-wise for a long time. If you get, I don't know, some kind of burnout or whatever, that's the worst thing you can get. So just take a chill.
Yeah, but this is my leisure. This is what I like doing. So
Okay,
WWDC, right now, as a longtime Apple enthusiast, I'm reserving my excitement right now because I'm one of those who is a little bit apprehensive about the moves that they've made lately. Things with the Apple Watch, doing that MacBook upgrade, which is basically a slightly faster MacBook in pink. I don't know. It's not that it's not bad. It's just they're not making those. And technology as a whole has really stagnated lately. And that's to be expected. I mean, the great movements, and then there's iteration, and then eventually there'll be more revolution and great new technology that's coming. Yesterday, I did see an article that listed all of the acquisitions that Apple has made over the past year. I don't know if you saw that. And that was really telling, because it said the name of the company and what they did, and there was a lot of interesting stuff in there. So obviously they're working on something, and they're acquiring the space for to build their car, which is supposed to come, I don't know, 2017, 18. But as far as right now, WWDC, I don't know. We'll see.
I think, they have stretched their very big announcement thin over the last 2 to 3 years.
Yes.
If I'm being conservative. So
You're being kind.
suspecting, that they're really going to knock it out of the park with WWDC this year with hardware.
So.
Because hardware is always the sexy stuff. People want to see the new machines. And I think they know that their customers and their fans are really going to want to see new hardware because what is telling is that Mac Buyer's Guide, is this famous website. They do like Mac news and rumors, but they also have this nice buyer's guide where it's like color coded. Like green is you can buy it now. They just refreshed it. Then they have like a yellow and a gray, which is like mid-cycle refresh.
Yeah.
And then they have the red, don't buy it. They're updating soon. And all the Macs are red, except for the new MacBook that they obviously just refreshed, and the iMac that also got a refresh.
I love that site, that buy or don't buy site.
Yeah.
Man, that's. We'll talk about that in a minute because I made an Apple purchase just a few days ago. I'll tell you about that.
Okay.
This is a small one, but I had to. I was itching for a new Apple product, and I kept on saying, "Wait till WWDC," but I couldn't. So anyway.
And I also saw. Did you see the interview with Tim Cook on Money?
I caught
Money Month?
pieces of it. Yeah, Mad
Yeah.
Money with Jim Cramer. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's also where he said how many companies they acquire per month. And that was crazy.
Crazy, absolutely crazy. And they're talking about and the money itself. Oh yeah, Apple had a bad time. Well, yeah, they only made $10 billion in revenue. Are you kidding me? So I mean, yeah, you have to put all that in perspective. But yeah, they acquire so many companies every single year. And Tim Cook made, if I'm not mistaken, some really bold statements. You know, wait till you see what we have coming up next. You're going to wonder how you lived without it. We'll see.
But you have to be fair and say that they always say that.
That's true.
And I think it was kind of a decision of Apple execs with the business side of Apple, where investors said, well, you know, stretched thin and kind of Apple can take a hit like this and come out winning at the end of this year, with September having the iPhone 7 event probably. They just said Apple can take a little bit of heat for this, and we just stretch it out and make some more profit with the iPhone 5, the 4-inch iPhone form factor with the new iPhone internals inside. I think it was just a business decision, and they're kind of coasting on their name, on their brand, because people will still buy it. But you can see that the market already reacted.
Yeah, and the iPhone SE is really performing well. I mean, it's selling well. They're ramping up their production on parts to get everything out there. My daughter has one. I got one for her because I said, you want the 6 or the SE? And she's, you know, has smaller hands, so she wanted to go with the SE. And she's commented twice to me so far. Man, the battery life on this is so good. And my daughter's not a tech person, but she's just noticing it's just really, really good battery. So that's great.
Okay, so let's go through this list right now.
Yeah.
Our episode is called Expectations and Wishful Thinking. Expectations might be my side, and wishful thinking might be your side of.
I don't know what you're talking about, Roman. What do you mean?
So I think that a first glimpse of iOS 10 is very likely, like they did in the past.
Or are we calling it Mac OS?
No, iOS.
I'm
iOS.
sorry. I'm jumping ahead of you. Yeah, iOS 10. Yeah, and I heard, there's going to be some little changes in there with Apple Music, I think, right?
Yeah, that's going to be a big part. And I think they're saving the full presentation for the September event. It's going to be a media mobile type event again. And I think we're just going to see some very fun new features. Maybe I don't think they're going to dramatically overhaul the UI. Maybe.
Although I'd love them to.
Yeah, add some. But I mean, when I look at Android, it's a lot of work just getting around trying to. I mean, you can do a lot of stuff, but I don't have to. I really don't want to.
And that's the thing, and that's really the thing. I think, because I used to be a tinkerer back in the day, where it's like, I had to change this and change that all the time, and I'd still change my wallpapers. But now, I just I mean, not to be cliche, but I just want it to work. I just want to pick it up, have it work, look nice, get to what I want to do, and move on. And my brother-in-law has an Android, and I got on his phone, and you're right, it's neat, it's pretty, it's interesting, but it would take me time to really sit down and figure out how to navigate through that, and that's a problem.
It also came a long way from when it started side by side with the first iPhones. It came a long way to being relatively fast, responsive, having a lot of apps, et cetera, and you can do a lot of cool things with Android. But yeah, I mean, safety is also an issue for me always. I mean, I think the Google Play Store, right, where all the apps are, well, the official Google apps, I think they don't monitor and curate it at all, right?
Right. Well, if they do, I don't know about it. Yeah.
So, I mean, a couple of years ago, I read something about an article about that there are a lot of, like, for instance, something as easy as an eBay app, right? There are like dozens of eBay apps which look like the eBay app, but are actually malware. And that you would actually have to take your time and look at the app and then maybe run a diagnostic, like an antivirus sort of thing,
right,
to check if it's the authentic, right? And I don't even want to do that on a mobile phone. On a computer, sure, you have to do that. But on a mobile phone, when I'm on the go, I just want to, okay, that's the eBay app, bam, I need it, install it, and you're done, you're safe.
That's my biggest problem with Android. I mean, honestly, I don't understand how people are okay with downloading apps from an app store that is not regulated and curated, where you could have a virus on your phone. And you're right. I mean, like I use mine primarily for business. And if I have a virus on my phone and all of a sudden I can't get a hold of my clients or my phone crashes or whatever, that's a huge problem, let alone privacy and financial stuff and so forth. Yeah. I mean, that's, so I feel very, very safe with Apple as far as that's concerned. As safe as you can be in technology today, at least.
Next thing I have OS 10 being rebranded into Mac OS, right? So the questions are, and this was actually present on their website for, I don't know, a day or a couple of hours.
Yeah.
And then they took it down. So the questions are starting if they will stay with version 10 or will they make it Mac OS 11 or drop the numeration completely and only go with Yosemite, El Capitan, or another scenic California site that they choose.
What's your opinion? What do you think?
macOS branding, I think, is, if you look at it, you have iOS, you have tvOS, you have watchOS. Mac OS is only logic.
Totally makes sense.
It's a logical step.
Yep.
I like getting the Mac in there again because that means they're still having some of their focuses on the Mac, because people have been saying when the iPads came out, the iPhones, they did the Back to the Mac event, and that was telling that people thought that they were kind of neglecting the Macintosh, and everybody was scared and ripping their hair out. And they did this Back to the Mac event to soothe and calm everybody down. So I think macOS is cool. It'll look very good in the whole lineup: iOS, macOS, tvOS, watchOS. It's great.
Yeah, when I first heard it, the Apple enthusiast in me just cringed. I'm like, no, because you've been saying OS 10 from the beginning, and it's just, at least from when I started in, when the OS 10 was already a thing. But you're absolutely right, and I think it looks great, and I think it's a more uniform and less confusing line. And that's something actually that's what Steve Jobs did when he came back to the company, and he had those 4 quadrants of, pro and consumer, both desktop and mobile and so forth, and I think it works. I think it works well like that. It's a more uniform type of thing. It's less confusing, and it lets people know that it's the Mac OS. And you're right, keeping that Mac name around, I think, is really, really important.
Because it used to be Mac OS 10, and then they just left out the Mac, and they called it OS 10, and that was like years ago, and everybody's like, oh, are they going to do like an iOS, like Mac OS kind of hybrid thing? What are they going to do? And it was actually much simpler than that.
Yeah.
But I love having the Mac back in there, and I don't know if they're going to make it. I think they're just going to leave everything out and just call it Yosemite, El Capitan, or San Diego, whatever.
Which is fine with me. OS 10 is dead. Long live OS 10.
So Siri on the Mac, a lot of talk.
Long overdue.
Siri. Yeah, long overdue.
Long
definitely.
overdue.
Yeah.
Shockingly overdue. I don't know how it hasn't. I mean, I guess maybe the implementation hasn't been perfect enough for them yet, or they're, thinking about the user interface for it. But shockingly overdue. That should have been done a long time ago. And I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe new watchOS and tvOS glimpses, just short 5-10 minute bits at WWDC. Likely. Not sure.
Well, they just released a new couple of over the past couple of months, 2 tvOS updates. So they released that. So they'll probably show that off. watchOS, they really, really, really need to. The public's relationship with the watch right now is tenuous at best. It's very, very polarizing. So either you love it or you can't stand it and don't wear it, even in the tech community. I still wear mine every day. The only reason I use it is it really, like I said before in previous episodes, it's having the notifications right there on my wrist is great, and not enough for me. Plus, it's a nice watch and nice faces, and it looks nice and everything. That's fine. That's all I really need out of a watch. So basically, if I'm looking at it as a watch plus things that I couldn't do on a normal watch, then that's fine. But as far as the apps and everything, and none of it works well. And and they just said that What was that? Apple just gave an announcement to all the developers saying that the next version of apps after this month, I think after June, all has to be native on the watch, which is huge.
Yeah.
Huge. So we'll see. We'll see.
And now to the juicy bits, hardware. iPhone 7. I don't think there's going to be anything on the iPhone 7. They're going to wait for the September event, or they're going to show it on WWDC and stretch it thin again and do something funky, but I can't really see that happening.
What do you think about the leaked images on it?
I think they're legit, and I really don't like that the smart connector is gone. In the updated ones, that would have been great. Some of the maybe technological innovation of already long time established product like the iPhone. And I'm saying innovation in a non-innovative field right now because, as Tim Cook said in the interview, like iPhones have stagnated. They've plateaued. They're on a plateau right now. Nobody knows what to do. People are doing like these, what is it, HTC or whatever, where you can disconnect like the hard drive or like that weird.
Did you see the CNET video of the technologists that work at CNET? There was, I think, 5 or 6 of them, and they had this really cute video out. And what they did was, it was just with one person, each technologist sitting there, and they were handed that phone where it's all modular and stuff. All they had to do is, seeing it for the first time, pick it up, take off the bottom, put on the battery module, and put it back in. That's all they had to do. One person got it right off the bat. The rest of them, they all sat there for like 5-10 minutes. I mean, they couldn't get it off. They couldn't figure out how to put it back in or what went where. It's an interesting concept, but it's not something that's going to fly.
But you can also be like positive and say people are going to try out, all of these companies are going to try out they're just going to throw all their excrement at a wall.
See what sticks.
And see what sticks and see what people buy, what people like. And it's a good test bed like this time right now.
It is. I mean, it's all something that has to happen. I'm making fun of it, but it's all, this is what technology does until something hits. But then the way Apple does it, usually someone comes out with something, it fails, but it's a good idea. Apple notices that, tweaks it, makes it their own, and then puts it out, and then everybody says, "Oh, Apple innovated this or made it," and that's, hey, whatever, that's fine with me. As long as we get good technology. But what I said last time on our last episode still sticks, which is I love my iPhone 6S. I love that thing. And out of all the iPhones I've had, that one right now I'm more comfortable with now than I have with every other phone. It's like at the end of its life, I'm like, I'm itchy for a new thing. I love this phone. I think it's great. iPhone 7 will have to be really, really spectacular for me to have to dump this phone. Big time.
Yeah, the thing is, I mean, upgrading for me in like a T-Mobile plan is very easy. Like I can still get 300 euros. That's about $330 for my old iPhone 6. And upgrading is just going to extend my plan another 2 years. The same plan I have now.
Anyway, right.
Well, I'm going to pay less if I don't upgrade because it's like half you pay up front, I guess 300 euros, and then the rest is subsidized, right? So I pay like 10, 20 euros for a 20-year-old plan to pay off the rest of the iPhone. But you don't really notice it. So you have a smartphone bill every month of 40 euros instead of like 30 euros or 20 euros.
Right.
So you don't notice it. You still have your phone and you didn't pay anything up front. Right, because like 300 euros and you extend the plan 2 months, or I sell my iPhone, my old iPhone, and I don't pay those 300.
Right.
So upgrading is always very easy. So there would have to be a lot in the iPhone 7 for me to upgrade. As you said, I'm very comfortable with this, especially because of the bigger screen.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's just I'm a 4.7. I think that 4.7. It's a perfect size screen. And what I do with my iPhone 6, right now I have a silver border on this, right? But what I do to make it more fresh, I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, that is cool.
So what I did is make it look like I put the line. This is actually beige and has iPhone down here, the matching lines, and an old Apple logo up there. and I did that just to make it a little more fresh. It looks like an Apple II or something like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
With the silver border on there. So it's such a great phone. I love this phone. I mean, it's still nice and speedy. It gets done everything I need to do. So I'm good with that. So I'm looking forward to the iPhone 7. Hopefully,
I mean, it would have to keep the audio jack.
Mm-hmm.
It would have to somehow be waterproof and have battery life for days for me to get started about thinking about getting it. Like,
yeah, if they shrink everything down, keep the same speed, and make the battery life bigger, even at the sacrifice of a slightly thicker unit, that's fine with me. That right there, that's an upgrade. That's an upgrade.
so MacBook Pros, likely. I'm saying very likely. And for me, this is wishful thinking and my predictions. Yeah, we already discussed what the MacBook Pros will likely look like. Kind of like that.
It's coming.
Hey, you know what? I don't even feel too bad about it like I did in our last show where we talked about it. I'm not freaking out if the performance is there.
That's the big thing. That's the big thing.
But also the connectors. What ports are you going to get? I don't want no audio jack. I mean, they're going to get rid of Ethernet. They already got rid of Ethernet on the Retinas.
Yeah, they did a long time ago. And,
right, yeah.
I mean, it's going to be thicker than the MacBook, but it's going to be the same type of model. So I think, because it's a Pro, the moniker Pro is there, they're going to have Pro features. So they're going to have more ports and everything. The whole point of this having one port, one very flexible port, is because of their vision for the MacBook. But the MacBook Pro is for the prosumer. So I think you'll be fine with additional ports on.
And I hope it's not going to be like an iPad Pro, like the small one, where there's actually no difference. There's no reason to call it Pro.
No.
Because I think they have a lot of pressure from all the MacBook community and an obligation kind of to deliver something for pros that are on the move, right?
Yeah. The iPad line, I still use and have my iPad Air 2, and I just don't. The Pro has absolutely nothing on it that makes me say, I got to have that. If I was an artist, maybe, but I don't know. What else we got here?
Well, I think that's pretty much it for all the predictions we have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm stoked for it, and we'll have a WWDC recap episode. Mm-hmm. I hope not on the same day, just because I'm frustrated and angry and I need to vent some of this anger. I need a channel for my anger. But I think if they have new MacBook Pros in that form factor, I'm going to get it in space gray. I'm going to love it.
Yep, same here. And I'll get rid of my, depending. If it's what I think it's going to be with the form factor and it's nice and light and everything, I would not mind having... battery life is fine on here, but more power and more ports and so forth, that'd be fine. That'd be great. I would buy that. Otherwise, I'm happy with my MacBook. Even the first generation of it, I know the newer ones came out and it's slightly faster and everything, but it wasn't enough for me to upgrade. And the pink does nothing for me.
It's rose gold, dog.
Yeah, say what you want. It's pink.
I'm already thinking of how I'm going to transition from 750 gigs internal storage to 256 SSD storage.
Do 512.
Yeah, and break my bank. Gonna call my bank.
Got some Apple stuff to sell?
Yeah, well then the MacBook Pro. I'm still gonna get like half of the price, which is fine,
Yeah. A tip out there to everybody is just to keep your Apple gear in as nice of condition as possible, and also don't fall in love with it to the point where you don't get rid of it within a year or two, because the resale value is huge on that. I made an initial for my business in 2006, I think. I made an initial investment for computer equipment of about $10,000. And I have still been recycling portions of that $10,000 up to today. I buy my equipment, I keep it for a year and a half, maybe 2 years. I sell it for close to what I purchased it for, and then I spend a little bit extra money to go get the new stuff. So I just look at it as a rental fee. And because and like you, I can't afford to drop $2,500 out of nowhere. I mean, but I can certainly drop $300, $400, $500 and sell my old computer for two. You can't do that with PC.
I think I will keep this new MacBook Pro for a long time if it lasts that long, like from the lifespan, just because I'm still looking at like a 1280 by 800 monitor, and it doesn't have SSD, so the speed bump and Skylake, obviously, that's like the reasons. I could live with this machine if it had SSD and a good screen, but it doesn't.
And you're putting an SSD in that machine, right?
I wanted to, but what's the point if I'm going to buy another Mac?
Buy a new one. Yeah, right? Yeah. Well, still SSDs are and what do you have in there now? Terabyte hard drive?
750.
750 hard drive. I mean, the price is coming down on SSDs every day, so you might be able to put it. I mean, and it makes a difference. I did that with my son's computer. I bought him an old used one, 2010, I think, maybe 2011, and we put an SSD in there. Whole new computer. It was amazing.
But let's be honest. I mean, it's number one is the display for me. This just doesn't work. I need Retina. I need like better.
Yeah. Once you see it, you can't. Yeah.
Yeah. And let's be honest, like the sexy form factor, the color, space gray, all that just accumulates into me drooling over it and definitely going out and buying it. So, and talking about buying stuff, I went to Bonn, to my hometown, for the vacation for a couple of days, and I plan to do a podcast episode with Mick from the previous special episode, or something with him. And I lost. I didn't lose it. I left my power brick at home.
Oh, jeez.
And then I'm like, oh, damn. While I was driving, I knew I forgot something, as always. And so I just went into an Apple store and I wanted to spontaneously buy a charger pack, right? The normal wall adapter.
Sure.
And if it's going to be like 40, 50 euros or $60, I would have picked it up. I could have sold it or kept it, depending on what the new MacBook Pro is going to have as a powering port. It costs 90 euros, which is $100.
Ouch.
And I'm like, wow. I mean, maybe this is common knowledge in the Apple community. I even think that I knew this before, but I just forgot it.
Put it out of your mind.
Yeah, just being so absurd that it just got erased from my hard drive.
Yeah.
And so the employees, they wanted to tell me that all power bricks cost that much. And I'm like, I can't imagine Samsung. Yeah, so I Googled it and in my own disbelief, and I proved them wrong, actually. Because
3040, right?
Yeah, 3040, and it's from the original manufacturers. So it's Lenovo, it's Samsung, it's Tosh, it's, name it, Acer. It's all 30 to 40 original bricks. They're black, they're ugly, right. But
they don't have MagSafe. But
they don't have MagSafe, exactly.
Yeah.
So, and then obviously I told them, hey, I can get an Apple charger on Amazon for $30-40. And they're like, yeah, but it's not an original Apple one. It's kind of remade. And in the end, you're going to end up like saving money on the wrong end. It's going to die or it's going to break. And yeah, I mean, this charger I bought on Amazon, it looks exactly like an Apple charger. It has all the specifics written down like in the small print on the charger. I don't know what is different. It works like a charm, and it's been working longer than the original charger did.
Yeah, the Chinese companies have gotten really, really good at mimicking real Apple stuff, even down to the code numbers on there, so you really can't tell. And I don't blame you for buying that. But, you read the reviews, and a lot of times people will say, not a lot of times, but every now and then they'll say, oh, it exploded or, went up in flames or something like that. But it's hard to tell nowadays, and everything, like you said, it's too expensive.
And I think, maybe I trust a little bit too much into German standards laws or European Union standards laws. I don't think they would let something into Amazon or to be bought that actually has the possibility of exploding in your face, breaking your MacBook, or just not working up to standards. And you can see all the reviews. There's hundreds of reviews. I think it's 4 from 5 stars. I felt very comfortable buying it. I think it's not the only one I've bought. works great.
That's great. Well, good. I'm glad you saved the money.
So those 90 euros, Apple, you got to do something. I mean, I think they know. I don't know how interchangeable like Samsung or Lenovo or Acer power bricks are, that you can just buy one from another computer and use yours. I mean, they have so many computers coming out every month. Right?
Oh, yeah, they do. It's insane. It's insane. I mean,
if you scroll down from like Samsung's website or Lenovo's website, they have so many editions, so many types of laptops coming out. It's crazy.
what was that new laptop that came out? Looks like a steampunk thing, and it's even thinner than the MacBook.
Yeah,
I can't remember what kind of manufacturer. Like, that was HP.
It was HP
With the new logo, by the way. I like their new logo. The design is, I don't like the chrome on there, but it's interesting looking. And going back to the MacBook, actually, the MacBook Pro, I'm very, very curious. The one the one thing that people have an issue with on the MacBook is the throw, where it's just a little too clicky and doesn't, the keyboard doesn't squish down far enough or push down far enough. I'm wondering if on the MacBook Pro they're going to have the same exact keyboard, or one that is the same mechanism but has a little bit more throw to it. That I think would be a good move, because this is hard to get used to. Not hard. It took a couple weeks, and now I'm to the point where I even have I had purchased this a while ago. That's the newer one, the keyboard, and I put it away in my case for a while, and I had been using a different keyboard with more throw. But since I've been using this MacBook, I've actually come to prefer it. So then I got this keyboard back out of the case from my production computer, and now I use that all the time. So I'm more used to it. But it took a little while, and I'm very curious to see what consumers are going to think about that, in mass, because MacBook Pros, they're going to be proliferated a lot more than MacBooks will. So the consumers are going to purchase those, and they'll be hit with that keyboard, and we'll see what they think of it. But this is what I purchased.
An iPod, really?
Yeah, I had a specific reason for it, but yeah, this is what I purchased. The reason is
that color does come out good, though, huh?
It does. Yeah, this space gray looks really, really nice on there against the black. They had it just black before. I don't like the OS in there, but I'm not really too worried about it. It's not what I bought it for. But the main reason I bought this is because in my car, I have been so used to having an iPod or a Nano or whatever, and then we went to iPhone, and it was fine. Everything was great, it still worked perfect. And then Apple Music came on the scene. Apple Music drives me crazy. I love the service that it is. I pay $15 a month, so my entire family of 5, actually 6, but my oldest doesn't use it, but a family of 5, including myself, my wife, and 3 of my kids, for $15 a month can have whatever music they want without purchasing anything. That is a great, great service. However, the operating system or the user interface itself drives me crazy. It's too thin and spindly. It's too convoluted. Someone pointed out on a video just this past week on a different podcast or something, where they showed that Taylor Swift commercial where she falls down.
I saw that video.
Yeah, she had to press 5 different things just to get to the music that she wanted. And I was like, man, that's exactly. And not only that, when I'm driving, I want to say, hey Siri, play this tune. Well, you have to open Apple Music first. Okay, let me get my thing. Open Apple Music. Okay, hey, play this song. Well, we don't have that. It's like, are you kidding me? And it's too much. I just thought to myself, all I want is Apple for it just to work, and it hasn't been. So now I got one of these things. I synced up. It's 16 gigs, so I put my entire music library on there for 16 gigs. It's not, and it just plays. I have it on there. My shuffle music, boom, it's going. Go to the next song, boom, it's going. It doesn't have to wait for a network or anything. It's all right there. My entire music library right there, and it's small enough where I can justify it. Where it's not that big of a pain carrying around this. It's not like this and an iPod Touch or another music player or whatever. It's a little tiny thing, slip it in my pocket, ready to go. I plug it in, leave it in my car unless I'm going to sync up some new stuff, and just, and it's just right there. And it's been great. I used it yesterday. It was perfect. It's just what I needed. Everything right there. Some podcasts, a little bit of video it has on there. Perfect. So I can't stand Apple Music because of that. It's too convoluted.
Yeah, you still have the iCloud based Apple with people who aren't on the Apple Music plan.
iTunes Match.
The iTunes Match is still in there somewhere.
Yeah, I still have it, and yeah, my wife made a whole bunch of playlists, and then all of a sudden the playlist went away, and she couldn't find them. I couldn't figure it out, and then I happened to be listening to a podcast with Jim Dalrymple on there, and he had the same exact problem. He, a Apple and tech enthusiast for years who does a podcast who knows everything, couldn't figure out where his podcasts were. He had to call Apple directly, and they had to tell him how to find his podcast on his iPhone. Ridiculous. This whole interface, I don't like. I mean, I've grown used to it, but the interface of Apple Music and to a lesser extent iOS right now, I don't like Johnny Ive's design. I don't like it. It's too minimalistic, and I'm a minimalist.
And the different services they have, they kind of interact with each other, and they kind of overlap at certain points. Like Apple Music, why would I have iTunes Match? Do I still need that? No. Can I cancel the plan? Yes, I can. Okay. So iTunes Match is gone for me, but it's still there for people who aren't part of Apple Music, I guess.
Yeah.
It's not that difficult if you learn it once.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing, because you have to be one or both. Because if you don't have Apple Music and you don't have iTunes Match, then you don't have access to iTunes Music or Apple. I think. Is that how it works? I forget.
Well,
because there's no iPad app or iPod app anymore on the iPhone. It's Apple Music. There is no iPod app. So how do you get to your music?
Well, you can still buy stuff, right, from iTunes normally, from the iTunes app.
Right.
And you can access it on your phone. And it's also going to sync to your Mac and from your Mac to your iPhone. But what iTunes Match does is external songs, MP3s that you might be getting from friends or legally ripped somehow from CDs. Right. That's what iTunes Match is for. That's what it was for in the first place when it came out.
And I was fine with that. Apple Match.
That was awesome. It was a good plan.
iTunes Match had no problem with it.
It was a cool idea, and they upgrade your songs if they have it in their library, et cetera, et cetera. That was good stuff.
Even with that which you illegally ripped from CDs before, they were saying no harm, no foul. Let's just do this, and it was great.
They make them legal. They make your stolen stuff legal,
right?
Which was a fair thing to do. It was a cool idea. I want to talk to the guy who invented iTunes Match. That was a good move.
That was a very good move. And it was only there for a little bit, and now Apple Music, and it just got so confusing. And
there's no more need for it if you have Apple Music.
Right.
Well, maybe.
There might be. I haven't canceled it.
But ripped MP3s. I'm not going to download any illegal MP3s.
Right.
Anymore, I have to say truthfully. But the last time I did was a long time ago. That was like in the dark days of the internet.
Sure.
So now, once my Amazon Prime membership runs out, I will get Apple Music. There's no doubt about it, because I buy too much iTunes Music as it is, and then it doesn't add up. So I'm going to be paying $15 a month, or like $10 a month, I guess it is.
Well, it's $10 per person, but if you give a family plan, it's $15 all you can eat. And man, when I heard that, because my kids had all been coming up to me, Dad, can I have $2 to buy this, or $5 to buy this album, or $10? And now it's just I don't even hear from them anymore.
And then there's no more real syncing involved, because if you want to listen to it, you just listen to it on your Mac or on your iPhone. You don't really have to I have it on my iPhone. How do I get it onto the Mac? Right. That was a pain in the ass before, years ago.
It was. Which I gotta say, for this thing, it was really weird to plug this in and sync it up again. I was like, wow, I haven't done this for so long. But it was easy. I plugged it in. I said, I want this, and this. Synced it over, and it's all there. So, but I think that it's that assurance that not relying on a network, not relying on my level of cell phone connectivity. It's just there. There's something about that. It's a unitasker, yes, but it's going to work, and I can have confidence in that. Plus, the other reason I got this. Is because it does have the lightning connector on there, so I can charge it with my existing stuff anyway. So I like this thing a lot. I think it's great. Plus, I needed a fix. It's a sickness room. I had to have something. But anyway, well, we got to end it up there. I have a wedding to shoot. I have to get out of here around 2:00. So, any other things you want to talk about? When when is WWDC? When that's in June, right?
It's June.
June.
June 3rd?
Is it that early? June 3rd?
June 13th? We don't even know.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even remember, but it's in June.
It's like beginning to mid-June.
Yeah. So let's catch up. We still have a lot of May left, so we'll catch up. We're going to try to do another show next Saturday also. And we'll talk about, I have some other things that I want to incorporate with Tech Out Loud. And I want to get the podcast part of this going. So hopefully this week we'll be able to do that.
We'll do that backstage. Two things. May 10th is going to be Uncharted 4 coming out. I'm going to buy it as soon as it comes out and play it for you guys, give you my review in a couple of weeks after that. Doom 4, May 13th, same deal. All right. There you go.
TechOutLoud.com. Come visit it. Subscribe to YouTube. Yeah. And I'll see you on the other side, Roman.
Okay. See you, buddy.
Take care, brother.